You're listening to the UoR Music Podcast. Hello and welcome to the UoR Music Podcast. It is our Christmas special.
Woo!
So, how are you, Ben?
I'm feeling very Christmassy. You know, we're by our very real fireplace.
Lovely and warm.
Oh god, the Christmas tree is up. The penguins are out. We're wearing our jumpers. I apologise for the turtleneck for those watching on YouTube. It's the only Christmas jumper I have.
It's quite something. Quite something.
How about you? Are you feeling Christmassy?
I'm feeling very festive. Thank you very much, Ben.
It's good.
I'm very excited to be here doing this for Christmas. I can't believe that we've lasted this long.
Yes, we haven't been cancelled yet.
We've actually been given a Christmas special
By the commissioners.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes, this is our Christmas special. We are going to be talking about all things Christmas music related.
Some of our favourite albums from the year.
Some of our favourite albums. We'll do a bit of a review of 2020. We've got a few surprises coming up, and we will have some special guests later on. Some of our older friends, as it were. But let's get started. So Ben, Christmas
James,
music.
yes.
What's your thoughts?
You know what? As a musician, it's it's one of those things where you start playing it September, so by December you hate it. But this year's been different, and Christmas has sort of come later, which I've enjoyed in a musician's world, and I love it. Just not too early. So this year's felt good.
See, I'm completely the opposite. As soon as we're back in September, I'm psyched. Getting those Christmas pads out.
I have rules. You see, it's got. I mean, music. I'm okay playing and rehearsing music that's Christmas music because it's what we do, and we want to be ready for the gigs in December. But you got to wait until after Halloween, and I think personally till the first day of December. And everyone says no, start it in before Halloween, but no, after Halloween, and if you're American, after Thanksgiving, then Christmas.
I do agree, actually. December the 1st is it's probably a good starting point where you can really start cranking out those.
Otherwise, it ruins the special day.
Cranking out those songs. Let's start off with just let's start with the cheesy, popular Christmas songs. What's your favourite?
Ooh, cheesy popular. I mean, I'm known as Mr. Cheesy. Mr. Cheese. I mean, Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas, is everyone's favourite cheesy Christmas song.
I'm not a massive fan. But no,
it's that
I don't know what it is about it. There's something about it. That song, it's a little bit irritating for me. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm going to say something that applies to most Christmas songs, which is it's overplayed. But I feel like that's one more than any other that seems to just be played just over and over again. So I don't know what it is about it. It's just something about it just doesn't sing to me.
No, I mean I'm not too fussy about Christmas songs. I do like Michael Bublé, good old Bublé.
Any of the Michael Bublé sort of Christmas album, his
Yeah.
only Christmas album.
Yeah, he only has one Christmas album, and yet that's all he's known for.
Yeah, is his one Christmas album has defined him.
Although he must get good yearly income.
I don't think that would be a complaint on his part.
He's set for life.
The amount of money he gets from Christmas is just, he's all right.
He funds Santa's operation.
He does. I like all other sort of pop Christmas songs. I love The Darkness, Christmas Time, Don't Let the Bells End. I think it's really good because it's a rocky Christmas song. I do like a bit of rock. It's kind of got 70s glam rock vibes. I also like Elton John, Step Into Christmas. I think that is my favourite, feel-good Christmas song. I'm ready for Christmas.
I mean, Elton John's always
when that comes on. And then for me, as a personal thing, I love Stop the Cavalry by Jonah Louis because it reminds me of being young and being with my grandparents and listening to that. And it actually is one of the things that inspired me to take up the trumpet.
See, I am jealous of brass players because as a saxophonist, I feel like you get the best Christmas music. And when it comes to Christmas pads, I'm always a bit jealous just playing sort of the minims in the sheets.
Yeah, I mean we get in say big bands and orchestras, we get really good parts at Christmas.
And brass ensembles themselves.
Yeah, and then we come to the whole world of brass bands, which is everyone loves a brass band at Christmas, and everyone wants to.
Only at Christmas, though.
Well, that is as a brass band, and I have been for many years. I would say yes, that is very true. People only want us at Christmas, but at Christmas, boy, do they want us. You know, I love the sound of a brass band outdoors in the street when you're walking along, you know, playing those old carols. Oh, I love it.
There are some great numbers of vocalists at Christmas. I'm personally a big fan. One of my favourite Christmas songs is White Christmas. We won't get copyright claim for that, will we?
I like the original,
Yeah,
the Bing Crosby original, and then I like the I can't remember who it is who did the other version, but it's the one with the boop 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 boop. That one.
Oh, I know.
Michael Bublé did a cover of that version on his Christmas album. What Christmas songs don't you like? What really grinds your gears?
I'll tell you what grinds my gears. I don't know.
You don't know?
I feel like it's...
Is there not just, you know, some Christmas songs that you just, when they come on, you go, oh...
See, for me, it depends on how many times it's been played in recent memory. So I'm fine with most Christmas songs because it's, you know, it's Christmas at that time of the year. As long as it hasn't been played like 5 times a day before and you listen to it this morning.
Isn't that every Christmas song?
Well, no, because like when you're listening to a Christmas playlist, if it goes on repeat, that's when I stop my Christmas playlist, because then I get annoyed because it's repeating itself, and I don't listen to Christmas music religiously from the 1st of December to 25th every day, the full playlist of every Christmas hit. So I never get really fussed by Christmas music. I know you've been you've been telling me before we shot this that there's some that get to you. I mean, Mariah Carey.
All I want for Christmas is you is one that I can bear it, but I wouldn't put it on if I was choosing music, and I probably would skip over it if I was driving in the car. I'd skip over it. Another one is John Lennon, "Merry Christmas, War is Over." I don't know. It just makes me a bit sad, just a bit. And I don't know why, because it's supposed to be a celebratory song and, you know, celebrating peace, but I don't know why. It just seems to brings a downer for me. But then again, I love the Pogues' "Fairy Tale of New York," which is actually a sad Christmas song. And like I said earlier, "Stop the Cavalry," that's quite a...
I like "Stop the Cavalry."
But that's, you know, if you listen to the actual message of it, it's someone who wants to be at home from a war. And but for me, it's the nostalgia for that.
Yeah.
Talking about Christmas songs that become monotonous and things like Christmas carols, I've really loved this Christmas. I think they released it this year. There's a band. They're an Australian band.
I was gonna say covers are great.
Who've moved to Nashville, and they've basically reimagined a load of Christmas carols. They're called "For King and Country" is the name of the band. If you're interested, they're on Spotify and all others. And if they are listening, please come on the show. I'd love to talk to you.
I love how broad we think our listeners
are. They got to think big.
Yeah.
They so what they've done is they've reimagined a load of Christmas carols, and your classic "Silent Night," "Little Drummer Boy," and "The Bleak Mead Winter," which were lovely Christmas carols before, and I very much enjoyed playing them.
I'm a big Christmas carol fan. I do love the singing.
Yeah, but the way they've done it on their album, I just the arrangements of it, and it turns them from Christmas carols into, brings them into the 21st century, and makes them into a modern songs, and I really like that. And I think it's certainly an album that I'll be dishing out every year from now on.
I mean, I'm glad you introduced them to me, because I'm gonna be putting them on the other day, and it does. They're classic songs, but they just sound really they just sound updated, and not in like a lyrical way, but in a musical way.
I mean, a friend of ours, I should say, described it as Coldplay. But
and then you went, "How dare you?"
I think it's a lot better than Coldplay.
Yeah, they're better. That would, don't give Chris Martin any bad bad word. I mean, he's a fantastic musician and Coldplay. So if you are listening, we'd love you to come on the show.
Actually, Coldplay, if you're listening, we wouldn't love you to come on the show.
Oh, thanks a lot, James.
I don't think we could afford to be turning away guests.
No. Especially not, Coldplay.
So Little Drummer Boy Christmas, which is the name of the album by For King and Country, was a new album this year, 2020.
Is that one of your top ones of the year then?
It certainly is. It certainly is one of my top albums of the year. And I was just going to say, we're going to do a little bit of a review of 2020 in music. So have you got any albums or songs or events that kind of you want to review?
Well, I mean, I think this year, it's been a very different year. I think no one's denying that. But there has been some great music, and I'm a big fan of Jacob Collier. And I think this year really has, we've had a third album from the Jesse. He's doing a 4-album compilation, and Jesse Volume 3 came out, and it's such a good album. I mean, Jacob Collier himself, if you don't know him, he started out just doing some a cappella stuff on YouTube, and he got spotted by Quincy Jones, who's now his manager, and he's won quite a few Grammys. He beats the big names for album. He's up for album of the year for the next Grammys for Jesse Volume 3, and you see all the big names in Jacob Collier there, who is a big name in his own right, but then he always just sort of snatches the Grammy away. He's so he's a multi-instrumentalist. He's so talented. He's worked with so many people. He's worked with Chris Martin from Coldplay, your favourite person, but he's also done Here Comes the Sun with Dodie. I'm a big fan of Dodie as well, and a bunch of other artists. And he himself is so talented, and his albums always feature so many collaborations as well. So not only are you listening to James Collier, but you're listening to new styles of music from new people that you don't tend to listen to. He is, I think he's one for the musicians. He's one that musicians will listen to themselves and go, "That's so cool."
Well, I had heard of him until this year, until you introduced me to him. Which I suppose says something about the fact that he hasn't necessarily been uber mainstream until now. He's certainly getting there with the Grammys and everything.
He's not uber mainstream, but he's had musical success. So he's for the past album stuff, he's still been winning Grammys, but he's never stayed mainstream.
Yeah, and I don't know how he's slipped under my radar, but he has. But you've introduced me to him.
He's great. He does a lot about harmonies, and he finds notes in between the notes on the piano. Yeah, and he makes harmonies out of those, and it's
certainly from a bit of a theory nerd like myself, and a harmony nerd.
You can see videos of him doing
it's a masterclass in how what you can do with harmony and push it to the limits.
One of his first big videos on his channel that he did, which really pushed the boundaries of harmony, is Moon River. He did a cover of Moon River, and it's insane. It's quite overwhelming sometimes. I remember showing it to my mum. She said, "It sounded good, but it was a lot." And I was going, "No, it's amazing. It's incredible." But it's a lot of harmony.
I think it's the type of music that you need to make it an event to listen to, in the sense of you can't listen to it to do other things.
But then he does a lot of other stripped back stuff. And Volume 3 has some incredible tunes. And I quite like 1 and 2 as well. And you can just listen to them in order as well. You just go, it's just lay back and they tell a story.
Well, if Jacob Collier is listening, then please do get in touch.
I would love to have you on the show. I've said Jesse Volume 3, I think, is my album of the year. It certainly was high up on my Spotify numbers. What about you? What's been your big album of this year?
It's going to be a really biased one because I'm a massive fan of this artist, and I have been for as long as I can remember.
I think I know who this is.
It's Tim Minchin, but it's not just another Tim Minchin album. It's his first studio album. He's never done a studio album. All his albums have been live albums from his shows, and it's his first serious album. So it's not designed just to make you laugh. It's designed actually around the music, and it goes to prove what a brilliant musician he is. Because we saw him live.
That was an incredible.
Which I then we're going to go say that was my. Well, that was last year, so I can't say it was my event of this year. But from there we learned about him. That he defines himself as a musician above a comedian. He's a musician who does comedy rather than a comedian who does music. Yeah, and I think that really comes through.
He's like the opposite of Bill Bailey.
Yeah,
Bill Bailey does comedy with music. Tim Minchin does music with comedy.
Yeah, and I think, he's already established himself that he can do serious music with writing his musicals. So Matilda, he did Groundhog Day, the musical, and he wrote the music for his own TV show. But this album establishes him as more of a more contemporary artist. Hopefully it will allow him to appeal more to those who, are looking for something more mainstream, who maybe, were put off by... He does use a lot of strong language in his comedy, and he does talk about a lot of quite controversial themes, which I personally, I find it quite enjoyable because I quite like his take on the world. But some people are put off by that, and therefore they don't give his actual music itself a chance. Because even those comedy songs that he produces, musically,
they're insane,
are brilliant. And so he's someone I've always looked up to. And if people ask me, who's your musical idol, in quotation marks, because I don't really believe that we should have musical idols, but if I was going to have one, it would definitely be him.
I mean, knowing you, and when we went to that gig, the look on your face just for that entire gig was insane.
Yeah. So Tim, if you are watching,
we would love to have you on the show.
Yeah. So please write to us.
Now, hopefully, this won't be cancelled again or postponed again. But we were going to see, and an event of this year that we would have been able to talk about was a Jamie Cullen gig in April.
Jamie Cullen being an alumni of the University of Reading.
Jinx.
So, we are in great company here.
We are, following in his footsteps. But no, he's also released an album. He also just won the world record for the largest online piano lesson. Working with Dodie, who I mentioned earlier, who does some work with Jake and Collier. Go check her out as well. She's got some great stuff. All right, Jamie Cullen is a fantastic sort of jazz pop musician. So Jamie Cullen, if you're listening, please come on the show.
Yes, write to us.
I mean,
in fact, Reading alumni.
Yeah.
So
we'll be on to you. Yeah.
Any events this year? I know it's not really been the year for events, certainly musically, but saying that there have been, events.
Well, as I just said, we hoped to have seen Jamie Cullen, but that got cancelled. A lot of stuff got cancelled, which is a shame. I mean, I can't remember the last gig I went to. It feels so long ago. But on a more small scale, university.
The last gig I went to was the Rums Jazz Band playing at the 360.
We've been very fortunate that in between sort of in that period where we were in those tiers and we were able to do like small stuff, the Rums Jazz Band got 2 gigs to a socially distanced crowd, and there was only 6 of us on stage, and we're all set apart. And it was just, 3-rhythm section, 3 horns.
The pandemic has caused people to get creative with the events that they're producing. And we have had a few things that have actually been quite exciting. So, for example, they did the charity event where all the big pop stars, I think it was Lady Gaga who organised it.
One World at Home?
Something like that, which was quite good, quite nice to see some of them, being a bit more stripped back. Certainly Lady Gaga, it was nice to see her playing the piano and singing. And,
she does some great collaborations with Tony Bennett. Listen to her stuff on Spotify with her and Tony Bennett. They sound great together. There's also been, we talk about improvising about how to perform and how to do events. There was an event run by collaboration between Rums and the University of Reading Music, which, for reasons that we cannot name, where we did a big live stream, where we took in video entries from students.
Yeah, so it was a song contest that we hosted alongside Lloyd and Vic, our colleagues, and it was a lot of fun. It was basically people sent in videos. Some were really silly, some were quite serious but really musically brilliant, and some were just a bit of everything like ours.
A couple of originals, a couple of
covers. We wouldn't have done that
if it wasn't for the pandemic.
If it wasn't happening, and it was really refreshing to do something that we'd never really done before, because we had
the community.
We love doing gigs. We love doing concerts. But we've done them before, and I know this is not me saying I'm not going to do concerts anymore.
You heard it here first, folks.
I can't wait to get back to those concerts. But it was really nice to do something just a little bit different and get people
Yeah.
seeing, how creative people can really get, and they really pleasantly surprised us. So that was really, really nice.
It was a fun night. Now, James, it is Christmas, so I got you a little gift.
You've got me a present.
I got you a little gift. I spent a large amount of money on this. Yeah, definitely. I think you'll appreciate it.
Okay, I'm very excited for this. I can't imagine what it's going to be.
I've placed it here. Oh, that's not meant to be in there. I've placed it here in the in this.
Am I retrieving it from the
in this takeaway
bag?
bag?
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
So what Ben has got me is called a fart trumpet. So no prizes for guessing what it does.
I hope you enjoy the gift. I hope it's,
So it's called a fart trumpet.
It's for covering up your farts
with a fart.
with a fart. Give it a blow. I really hope there's. I really hope those listening on the podcast enjoy that.
I wouldn't describe that as a fart. Well, maybe.
No, it's to cover up the farts. It's,
okay.
Yeah.
So it's a more odd noise.
Yeah, it's to draw more attention to you so they look at you when you fart.
I mean, it's better than my normal trumpet playing. Well, Ben, it's funny that you got me a gift because I've actually got you a gift. I've been a bit more generous than you.
Oh, make me feel bad now.
You bought me a fart trumpet, whereas
Do you want me a fart saxophone?
No, I did not.
Ugh.
What I did buy you though is an entirely new working saxophone.
Ooh,
just a proper sax. I really went all out. Here you go. It does work.
I can actually play chords on a saxophone.
There you go. You see, what more do you want? It's better. What it is there is it's better than a saxophone, a normal saxophone. I've improved the saxophone. Well, I didn't make it, so whoever made that has improved the saxophone. It doesn't
playing "Fly Me to the Moon." Then.
It doesn't sound like a saxophone, but it doesn't sound awful. Hang on, let me join in.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I've managed to get a good tune out of this.
Well, Merry Christmas,
Merry
Ben.
Christmas.
Thank you very much for my fart trumpet. I look forward to.
I like how we went in
the
same vein.
Now, speaking of instruments,
Yes.
I enjoyed the saxophone and the fart trumpet, but I've been curious for this whole podcast as to why we got a line of rainbow-coloured bells in front of our fire, so they must be getting quite hot.
I'm surprised you asked because, as you remember, we had a little mini Christmas and we had some crackers. And in those crackers, they're great. You can find them on musicroom.com. They're a bit pricey for crackers, for Christmas crackers. You just want normal ones. But inside them, you get 8 crackers. You get a bell each, and it does a whole octave on the C major scale. It doesn't do any sharps or flats or anything like that. And you sit around the table at Christmas dinner after you've eaten, and you're feeling very bloated, and you're in your food coma, and you can play little Christmas songs on the bells.
Are you going to ask us to do what I think you're going to ask us to do?
I'm going to ask us to do what you think I'm going to ask you to do, and it might be very unflattering.
Bearing in mind, Ben, there are 2 of us, and there are
8 bells.
8
We'll
bells.
go 4 each.
Okay. So this is the UoR Music Podcast Bell Band with the first Noel, or something resembling that. Now that's entertainment.
It's got gingerbread and snowman on.
So this week we are joined by some festive alumni friends. So we've got Dilraj, we've got Alice, Joe, and Clara who are together. We've got Josh and we've got Emma. We're just going to get to know each of you quickly. We're just going to go around you. But first of all, welcome to the UoR Music Podcast.
Especially to our biggest fan, Dilraj Manku.
Our biggest
Finally
fan,
on the
Dilraj. Show. We'll start with you then, Dilraj. Welcome to the UoR Music Podcast. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I just got back from Edinburgh about a few hours ago, so just spending time with the family, really.
So you're up currently doing your PhD in Edinburgh. Is that right? Do you want to talk just a little bit about just to give us a brief overview of what you're up to now?
So I think all I can really say at this point is whenever you go into science, it's every kid's dream to make something blow up. And I've got that opportunity to do that with my professor. So it's actually fantastic.
Oh, brilliant. So you graduated last year, Dilraj. Do you want to just talk a little bit about what was your experience like with music at the university?
I know it's a bit up and down, really. Like when I first started off, I was unsure if I actually wanted to go straight back into music because I'd just been part of jazz bands, like just local one in my town, and I know I just kind of wanted to try something new. But then I decided to get into the music at Reading big band, just give that a go. I just thought, well, why not see what happens? And I was lucky enough to get in as a tenor 2. I got beaten by Joe for tenor 1, so apologies. Yeah.
And you went on to become, alongside Joe, who we'll talk to as well, leader of the Rums jazz band. How was that?
Honestly, that was probably one of the most fun experiences I ever had. Like, as soon as I started that in my first year, we had I don't know if you remember George Yabsley. He just sort of took us in, just sort of treated us really nicely, brought in a lot of nice jazz pieces, and we all just got together Wednesday night, play some really great music, just go relax after a long day in the pub, and that was great. And then, when he gave me and Joe power in second year, we just thought, how do we get to this point?
Speaking of Joe, let's go to Joe next. Joe, just for the context for everyone at home, Joe should be here.
Yeah, he's our housemate away from home.
He does actually live here,
and he's not technically an alumni.
No,
but we miss him, so we'll allow it.
Yeah, he's an honorary alumni. Anyway, Joe, so tell us about. So you're actually in your 4th year doing geography, but if you didn't decide to do a placement, you would have graduated. So I think we'll qualify him
technicalities
as alumni. Anyway, talk to us a little bit then about from your perspective, because it sounds like you and Dill have had your rivalry the whole time you've been here, which grew into a teamwork. Do you want to just talk about your experience?
Yeah, it was a friendly rivalry. I think we have different approaches, definitely. When we were both running jazz band, Dill was kind of the ideas man with all the outward passion, and I was his right hand man. I was the Dominic Cummings to his Boris Johnson, just kind of.
I was going to say the Clegg to the Cameron, but
yeah,
no.
Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe not anymore, but it's been incredibly positive, and my best friends at the uni have all come from music, so there's just something that I don't know. You know that you have something in common with whoever you're going to meet there, so it's just a really great place to make friends, and I've got so much out of it, and hopefully we can get back to it in the new year.
Fabulous. And then you are sat with Alice and Clara. So you've got Alice on one side who's doing her big grin, and then we've got Clara on the other side. I'm going to talk to Clara first of all, just because I'd like to bring up one of our former Rums presidents. So Clara, do you just want to talk a little bit about your experience at the university and being president of Rums in your final year?
Yeah, I had a great time with everything to do with music at uni. One of the reasons why I came to uni, because I kind of knew that it had a pretty good reputation. Being president, incredibly stressful, but a really good experience, and definitely learned a lot about how to work with people and being in charge and getting your ideas out there. Yeah, I loved it. It's great.
Fabulous. And then Alice, you were Clara's vice president. So do you want to add to what Clara just talked about?
Maybe give me some advice, being my predecessor.
It was definitely a lot easier than Clara's role. Clara was kind of the one who did everything, and then I was just kind of the sidekick on the side. It was quite good. But yeah, it was a really fun year. We had a really good committee, which helped a lot. But
Well,
that was great.
that welfare officer was.
Oh, I wonder who that was.
Yeah, but it was good to be in the PAL, but not have the jobs that I had to do. Yeah.
I think though we'll go from one Rums president to another Rums president from a lifetime ago.
About half a century ago.
Yeah. Josh, you were also a Rums president. Do you just want to talk about because you haven't been seeing what's changed since you were there, but you kind of come in every now and then to help with bands. Talk about what it was like back in the day, as it were.
Good old days. Yeah, I think people come and go, but I think the general gist of it stays the same. Obviously, you guys are now bringing it more into a social media environment. Back then, we didn't really do much of that at all. I talk about it like it was years ago, but it was only about 4 or 5 years ago. But I did chemistry, same as Dilraj. And then in my third year, first year I didn't really do much. I didn't really take part much in Rums. And then second year and third year it picked up a lot, and I decided something that I want to take on and do more and more. And then, yeah, as Clara said, third year it was incredibly stressful. Probably way too much for something that I should have taken on while it was my last year of uni. But it was something that was amazing. And as I say, I mean, I may not speak to people from, bands I've been in, but you'll always meet back up, and it's completely like nothing ever happened. And I think that's something that music does, and Rums especially was always good for that. So
and then last of all, we're going to come to Emma. So Emma, you graduated 2 years ago, and you were part of Rums as well. You were the social secretary in your third year. But just talk to us. It could be about Rums or any other part of your.
You're part of the big band as well.
Yeah. Well, everyone here was part of the big band at one point. So do you want to talk about your experience in music at the university?
I guess I was so nervous about joining any sort of music band in first year. I just didn't know what to expect. And I think Josh will say as well, the standard is really high. And so when I joined, I was very nervous about what they thought of me. But they took me under their wing. And I had such a good time. First year through to third year. I wish I could have stayed on longer if I had the chance. And being social sec, it was just nice to get to know everyone. And I love the social side of going to the pub afterwards and just chatting with people and just talking to people.
Yeah, and these days having a substantial meal.
Yeah. I just say that is what we miss the most. It is just,
Yeah.
I can recall so many times just going to the pub with you guys after a long rehearsal.
Well, we were talking about it the other day because we did a big live event that we can't say the name of anymore for legal reasons, and
it was a great success.
And we were just saying them afterwards. Ben and I were part of the organising team. We hosted it, and we just got to the end and we're like, well. This is where we'd be sat in the pub.
Yeah, now we just pack up and go to bed.
It's awful, yeah. So that is, I think, does anyone else want to chime in on the importance of, obviously the music side is, what we do it for, the passion of the music and playing the music, but the social side, does anyone want to chime in on what they found about?
We want to know if you miss us. That's what we
want.
Well, from my perspective, I think, in the bands, you don't actually get to talk to each other that much. You're playing a lot of the time, and especially if it's, the big band where we're constantly working to deadlines, and there's not really room for us just to chat about and have a conversation. It's the one time we can actually get together and actually say a word and talk to each other. So not being able to do that, I think, would be really tough, and it would just turn into, obviously the music side is incredibly enjoyable, but it's having that experience afterwards, and as you say, having a substantial meal and a beverage really makes a difference.
The last thing I just wanted to just ask you all about is, from your experience at the university, how much did music help you, say mentally, with your well-being at university? Anyone can chime in with this answer, but how did it affect? How did having the music society or the big band or just that community of musicians affect your sort of personal side to university?
I'll chime in here. Personally, for me, I would say joining music in general at Reading personally helped me with my mental health a lot. I don't really talk about it too much, but between my first and second year, I was unfortunate enough to lose not just my aunt, but both my granddads as well within the space of about 5 months. But having music going on in the background just sort of kept me busy. Running the jazz band, that kept me busy, just sort of kept me ticking over. And I met some fantastic people, like, you know, Joe's sitting right there. He was probably one of my first best friends as well. I still remember meeting him and Marco. And first thing I remember Marco talking about was saying, what the hell is this? I've played with better music things in Italy. We just sort of laughed it off and just went to the pub afterwards. It's just, you know, runs, music at Reading. Honestly, it was fantastic. I know it definitely helped me with my mental health. I can't stress this enough, how important your mental health is in this day and age. Music's fantastic. The people are fantastic. I wouldn't have gone any other way if I was going to restart going to Reading again.
Oh yeah, fantastic. And thank you very much for sharing that with us, Diraj. That's really lovely that you've been able to share that. Has anyone else got anything on that sort of build upon what Diraj just said there about how it affected your experience? Any of the three of you sat there?
Yeah, I was going to just follow on from what Dill said. You know, we met in the pub after one of the first taster sessions, and kind of just the whole spontaneity of being able to go to the pub after a rehearsal. It just seems a lifetime away at the minute in the stage we are at the moment with the COVID pandemic. Just being able to go to the pub on a whim is such a wonderful thing that we took for granted, and like I'm really excited for that to come back.
Although I am a bit concerned about how much we spent on games of pool at that
time. Yeah, it has been a bit of a money saver. Yeah. If there's any good.
I think we once tried to add up with me, Stuart, and Hugo how much money we'd spent on drinks and everything at the pub at the dairy, and I think we kept it going for a solid another 5 years or so. No, it is incredible. Like the friends you make. You know, I met Stuart the first sort of walk around we did of the Music Society on my first week of uni, and that was in 2014. And I still chat to him, you know, fairly regularly now.
I mean, you and Stu are double act. You come at the pair.
I mean, we look up to you as the inspiration for a friendship, or what a friendship should be.
When we wake up in the morning, we have to tick off the list of what Stu and Josh would do.
I think we should bring this to a more Christmassy.
Let's get Christmassy. Yeah, I'm wearing a turtleneck for this.
So let's just quickly just have a look what Christmassy outfits we got. I've got a lovely jumper that Emma's wearing. It's very, very nice.
It's got gingerbread and snowman on.
Oh, I love that. Gingerbread and snowman. Brilliant. And we got some Santa hats on Alice and Joe. And have you got tinsel on Clara? Fabulous. And then Diraj and Josh have just gone for the simple look.
The classy Christmas.
They bring their festive in their face.
They're
and
ready
cheer.
They're ready to sing some classic Sinatra, sort of jazzy, sort of big band hits.
Oh yeah, they're ready to do the didn't dress festively forfeit.
Yeah. So what you don't know
that I've just come up with.
I just say, who do you think here is the most Christmassy then?
As a person or right now?
Out of all our guests right now, yeah. So I'm
gonna have to give it to Emma.
Yeah, I think Emma wins
here.
I'm
gonna have to give it to Emma.
Most Christmassy.
She's just a bundle of joy right there on our screen.
Thank you.
Are you looking forward to Christmas then? Are all of you looking forward to just having a bit of a break from everything?
I am. I think just going home to family at the moment is like the most important thing, especially because I don't live at home with my family. So I think just going home is just very exciting right now.
Let's bring it to music as well. We're going to go through some what's your favourite Christmas song or piece of Christmas music? Let's start with the three of you together, Alice, Clara and Joe.
We were talking about this. What is our favourite? Mine is Driving Home for Christmas. But only when you're actually driving home for Christmas. Otherwise it's not.
Not if you're walking home. Yeah, taking the bus home.
So you can only really listen to it once.
Thank you. That one time.
It's a very specific song.
Joe, what's your favourite Christmas song?
Yeah, so my favourite Christmas song is "Wonderful Christmas Time." It never annoys me, no matter whenever I hear it, it just doesn't annoy me, and I think that's key to liking a Christmas song.
As I say, I think out of all of them, you've got to have one that you can bear.
Yeah.
You can bear. Clara?
Probably for my brass banding, I love The First Noel. which is a bit of an odd choice.
I knew you were going to say that because when we used to play in the brass ensemble, that was always your your request. Was the first Noel. Josh, what's your favourite Christmas song?
Mine's a bit of a weird one. I really like "In the Bleak Midwinter." It's a really sad one.
That's a good one.
Really lovely.
Jacob
one,
Collier does like he's got an amazing cover of it. If you ever want to look.
I'm a big Jacob Collier fan, and I love that cover. So I'm 100% with you on that.
Emma, what's your favourite Christmas song?
Well, if it's like a nice one just to listen to calm me down, I really like "Oh Holy Night."
Oh yes, I like the Il Divo version of that one.
If I'm up for a dance, then it will be "All I Want for Christmas Is You."
That is my least favourite.
I feel like
Christmas
that's any retail's that's any retail worker's least favourite song as well. They just have it on the speakers all day.
A quiz question for everyone here and everyone at home. In what year did "All I Want for Christmas" top the UK charts?
Wasn't it this year?
Was it 1990? Oh no, yeah, it's this year, but it came out in 94. That wasn't even the question, but I think it came out in like 94.
The answer is, well, has it? I don't know if it's topped recently this year.
Well,
but
I don't think the chart has come out for this year, like fully.
Not that as in Christmas number one, but until now, it's never been a Christmas number one in the UK. And it's like
I'd say you were so looking forward to catching them off guard there.
Yeah.
Like before we started this interview, like, I'm going to tell them this quiz question. They're not going to get it right. It's going to be great.
I thought you were going to say that. Trick question.
Well, yeah, I was so shocked when I heard that because personally, it's not one of my favorites, but it's one of those songs that it's one of the staples of Christmas. You thought it would have topped at some point. And Dilraj, have you got a favorite Christmas song?
I've got one favourite, but I think it's mainly because if you remember back to my second year of big band, there was one song I actually got to sing, and that was Frank Sinatra's version of. Ben, you remember the name of it, don't you?
I remember Dilraj singing it.
I remember it.
I can't remember the name of the song.
Was it Santa Claus is Coming to Town?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I remember that because I played that the big band shout for my first big band audition.
See, I do remember. I do remember you being really happy getting that song, Dil, for our Christmas. My first Christmas gig at the uni with you guys. So that was
I remember
that night a lot.
In fact, I think we were all playing because I think Josh came back to play the piano, and so I think we were all on stage that night.
Yeah. For musicians, Christmas sort of starts in September, playing the Christmas tunes, rehearsing for the gigs. Are you sort of glad this year that you haven't really had to be playing Christmas songs so early in the year?
It was always something that we definitely by October, November, you're already sick of it. And then by the time the concert comes around, you're just waiting for Christmas to end. And I think now, at least this year, you can kind of enjoy it. Like I was waiting for the Christmas music to come on the radio. That's how, I don't know, just waiting for this year to pass by, I think. I don't know.
I mean, if I'm honest, you kind of get used to all the same old Christmas carols and stuff. It's like when you're rehearsing them for so long and you just hear them year after year, it does get a bit monotonous. That's why I was really happy to be part of the jazz band, where we had like a couple of Christmases. We just came out and did things like Oye Como Va, or just something completely different just to change the entire vibe of it. I think it went down really well because, it's something that people didn't expect.
Yeah, I agree with you, actually, Dilraj. I mean, to a degree, I love, the carols and things.
And as a brass band player, you're playing lots of Christmas songs.
I do enjoy my caroling at least once a year, which we haven't been able to do as brass band, as Clara knows. But it's also nice to mix it up a bit.
I'm always jealous, and I'm sure Alice and Emma and Josh actually, and Joe, also all the woodwind players here will agree. So so everyone here, apart from James and Clara, I think will agree that I'm always really jealous of the brass players at Christmas because I always feel like they get some of the best music at Christmas, the brass players. So I don't know about you guys, but I always feel very jealous.
I mean, I assumed you were jealous of us all the time, to be honest. Every part of the year. We've got 3 primary school teachers who are actually primary school teachers, not like me, who's pretending. 3 primary school teachers. How has, at Christmas time, music is really important in schools and getting the children to sing. I don't know the cases in your schools, but largely schools aren't allowing singing and music making to the same degree. How has that affected, do you think, working with children and not getting to experience music in that way at Christmas time?
Mine have really missed it. They're kind of like, can we sing? We just want to join in. And it's really sad. But my school this week have allowed half the class in the hall, 2 meters apart, all facing the same way to sing. And when they were just so excited by it, and it was really lovely. But I think it has been difficult, particularly for schools that aren't allowing it. Even people that don't like singing have missed it because it's kind of part of Christmas.
Yeah, I think at our school they should have always done a play at this time, and obviously that's not a thing. And things like when you see reception doing their nativity, and at the moment we have to watch it on the computer and not sit as a school and watch it, which is, I think, it's a big shame, and that a lot of kids are missing out on things like that.
Yeah, we do a yearly carol concert with 5 and 6, and we're having to record it outside, and year 5 and 6 have to be split. So we had to find time to get the year 5s out in the freezing cold in their coats to sing some of the songs. We can't sing it inside, so we've asked them to go listen to the soundtrack at home. And it's just very, very different. And then we're recording each song at like once at a time, like merging it together with the year 6s. It's just not the same at all. It'll still be really, really nice for the parents to watch it at home, but it's not the same, and so we haven't been able to have that festive vibe this year.
So it's coming up to the end of 2020. I think we're all looking forward to putting this year behind the universe. And whilst it's been a year stuck at home, it's been a year for new music and some very exciting music. We spoke a little bit earlier about our favourite albums of the year. Have you guys got any particular tracks or albums that you really enjoyed this year? Any new ones or any like old ones that just sort of kept you going through the year?
I know, I've been listening to a lot of the XX again just to chill out. It's like when it gets really stressful, there's just something to stick on in the background, just relax. Really.
Nice. So they're that's kind of a bit of a throwback, I suppose. I like the XX as my study music. I think they really just kind of ease you, chill you out. That's a good one. Anyone else had any kind of what's got them through this year? Any new music or old classics?
Emma, what about you?
It's more music that I've been recommended. There's a really good artist that I've now started enjoying called Platt. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's got a really nice album, and it's nice to like drive to work listening to the music. It's quite upbeat. As a primary school teacher, lots of the new TikTok songs are coming into my playlist. I personally don't really enjoy them, but the kids will sing them at school, and they just are in my head. So I'd say a few of those current ones are now in my head as well, and on my Spotify playlist.
Yeah, I would agree with you. That has kind of been, whether it's a highlight of my year, it's been a defining feature of 2020, the TikTok songs. How about the three of you, Joe, Alice and Clara?
Kind of embarrassing. You get those Spotify, like, oh, what's your song been and your album been? So I looked at it when I got it, and it was one show, all top 5 songs, all the artists as well, and it was Platt in Dear Evan Hansen. The top 5 songs were from that show. So yeah, I really love theatre and I've missed it, so I think I was probably like listening to show tunes on repeat.
Carrying on with the show thing, it's like with have been able to watch Hamilton on Disney Plus was a very good move because it meant everyone could at least pretend they were going to the theatre. Joe or Alice or both of you?
So my Spotify yearly thing came up the other day. It was a bit of an eclectic mix. You can probably guess a few that were up there.
The UoR Music Podcast?
Yes, the UoR Music
Podcast. Well, yeah. I'm not very good at doing two things at once. So when I listen to music, I tend to just listen to music. So I can't work to music or anything like that. But and also recently on my memories on Facebook, it came up 1 year since I was at the Ghost gig that I actually invited James to at the time. But yeah.
I mean, would you like to tell it or shall I tell it? Because it's me who's embarrassed.
Shall I? I'll set the scene anyway. Basically, Ghosts are a heavy metal band, and basically all but the lead singer are anonymous, and they wear masks, and it's kind of got quite a lot of, you know, heavy metal themes, you know, satanic themes and that kind of thing. And
yeah, they're like a heavily Christian-y style, like anti-Christian.
Well, I mean, you know, it doesn't reflect my views, obviously, but I just like them. Anyway, I think I set the scene too much here, but they're a heavy metal band, and I invited James along, thinking it'd be a good chance to broaden his horizons. And I'll let James continue from there.
Well, yeah, Joe put out a thing saying, anyone want to come and see Ghost with me? I've got tickets. And I thought he meant Ghost the musical, based on the film with Patrick Swayze, with the, you know, with the pottery and the hats. It's a real musical. And I thought, oh, wow.
Is it a real musical?
Yeah. And I thought, oh, wow, that sounds like my cup of tea. I'll definitely come with you, Joe. And I was all geared up to go and see Ghost the musical. I can't remember how I found out that it was actually having. I think Joe was about to buy the ticket.
No, Joe sent her the video.
I shared a video in the group chat. And
you just went, that's not Ghost.
Oh, I've made a terrible mistake here with Ghost.
To be fair, we went. Me and my dad went to a gig a little while ago. I think the band was called Opeth or something, and we'd listened to a few of their recent albums and really liked it. And it was, you know, prog rock, jazzy, really enjoyed it. We thought, oh yeah, we'll definitely go to a gig. We turned up sort of, you know, two country gentlemen in shirts and, you know, just acting like it's proper going to be a concert. And then there was loads of men just, you know, in like black t-shirts, long hair, a little bit greasy. And and they said, oh yeah, welcome. We're now going to play our first two albums solely tonight. And it turns out the first two albums were proper hardcore, like death metal. And it was just a real experience on all behalves.
Carrying on with what we were saying, Alice, any songs that kind of defined your 2020?
Any good recommendations?
Not really. I'm one that kind of just wrote their dissertation to any kind of chilled out Spotify playlist, really, that just let me work. So there's nothing that
I like the what's it called, the lo-fi beats that are on Spotify for studying. They're very good for studying because you just put them on, it takes you into a little trance. And Josh, anything that's 2020? I mean, your prog rock band who actually turned out to be death metal.
Following on from Jacob Collier, he brought out a new album this year as well. Jesse,
we spoke about that.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Yeah, we really liked that.
Yeah, pretty sick. That's probably the only noticeable album that I've liked this year. It's an acquired taste at first. I think it's better if you are a musician. If you're not, I think it can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes. But
especially like some of the large harmonies.
Yeah, but I found it through someone, Dan Hughes, who used to be the bassist in the band, was in Rums when I first started. He got me into Jacob Collier. So it just all comes in circles, you know. We're just feeding it.
So there you are. If you join Rums, you
have to become Jacob Collier fans.
Well, no, but you'll get your music recommendations to you.
You broaden your horizons and listen to guests.
I'd agree with that, actually. I think that, the style I used to like jazz. I still like jazz and all of that, but I think through Rums, a lot of people do go. You know, we do these big concerts where people get to see all these different types of music and all these different sort of instrumentations.
But even like within specific stuff, when we spoke to Day back in our second episode, you know, he's been great at broadening horizons within jazz and big band music itself. And so being part of these societies really do, help you learn new stuff and meet new people and new music. Speaking of that, I think you've got a final question.
I've got a final question. So before we leave you, I'd just like to go around each of you, and then what I'd like is just if you've got any advice for any freshers or perhaps potential applicants that are coming to the university, and who've maybe, certainly for freshers who maybe haven't had the full experience this term because of everything that's been going on, and maybe now feeling like I think it's too late to join these music societies or these ensembles, and I don't think I'm going to bother. What advice would you give them, and why do you think actually they should join these societies?
I'd say if you're just going for societies in general, just join up. It's just great to meet new people regardless. Again, that just comes back to the whole mental health thing. why I would push Rums and just music in Reading in general is it's just such a diverse group of people. You all get together. Sometimes you don't have the same interest in music, but you join the same band. You then sort of develop your understanding of each other. You become better friends, and then eventually you do sort of come to that stage where you enjoy the same music. And it's just not that. Again, it comes back to just being able to just pick up the phone, call each other, and say, "Hey, do you want to go to the pub? Do you want to chill out?" I mean, again, that's how we just all get to know each other. I mean, I didn't know Josh straight away, but it was. I still remember how I met Josh. It was him and Stuart just turned up at the pub one time just before a gig, and we just got talking. And then it was actually eventually we ended up joining his other big band as well, and that was really chill. We met more of the older members there. And, it's almost like networking, but you meet so many fantastic people, and especially for me as a chemist, when I've had a long day. And I just come to big band, and I think, in all fairness, I think I did annoy a lot of people, and I was just playing Barry non-stop. I could see Clara just laughing. But yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
But it's just, music.
Thank you, Rog. Same question to Emma.
Yeah, I'd say just give it a go. Even just turn up to one rehearsal, just see what it's like. Because if you don't give it a go, then you're never going to know, are you? So just try various different bands, just to see what your taste is. I guarantee there'll be someone there that you'll speak to at any sort of band, and with the society members as well, talk to them because they will help you, no doubt.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, I'm quite lucky in my course is quite a small course. Well, in some ways it's lucky, blessing and a curse. In small courses, you get to know everyone. But also, if you don't meet someone in that small group of people who's your type of person.
But even on the larger courses, as the chemists here will know, and as Joe and myself who do who do larger courses, having that escape to a different sort of area. And even if it's not music, even if you just go and do the rock society, which is the rock society or the dance society or just I'm trying to
a society
of
where you're going to find people who are interested
the gaming society
in the same thing as you are, who have the same passion, same interests as you. You're meeting like-minded people, and it's something we've talked about a lot on this podcast, but I think it was really important. So let's just go to the three amigos,
the three wise men.
Yeah, I definitely say just give it a go. I remember when I joined and I was put next to Emma, and Emma was in the year above me, but I'm not sure I really knew that at the time, that we did exactly the same degree. She was in the year above me, but then kind of even talking to someone who is quite similar to you in that respect, but there being a whole year difference was quite a nice environment, just making friends that way that maybe we wouldn't have made friends with older years if it wasn't for the kind of social side of it. And I mean, as alumni now, my closest friends and people I'm in contact with are the people through the music, through the social music side. I mean, we all met kind of really through, well, I mean, we didn't, but through the more social side of the music at uni.
Do either of you two want to add to that?
I was just going to say, like, the opportunities you get and whether that's what the music that you play. Like, I never thought I'd play Star Wars and Harry Potter and attempt to do Joseph, but you don't know the opportunities that it's going to bring you. So I think just give it a go, and yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes making friends on your courses is quite hard because it's more of a at least when you go to rooms that you've got kind of a starting point. You're both into music, you both like this. I mean, you probably like your course as well, but there's just something else about music. It's easier to go to the pub after go and do something social after a rehearsal than it is like between lectures or something. It's just a great social environment.
And then lastly, same question to Josh, and I think I'm sensing very similar themes here about the people that you meet, and you talked about earlier, your friendship with Stu comes from the music, and that's a friendship that has lasted until now. Is there anything else that you can add to that, or something new?
Yeah, I mean, talking on as I say, people maybe who haven't had the freshers that they deserve really, or that any of us actually had, which is a shame. I think I'll still pull on the same story of I did join in first year, but I didn't really take part or do anything. I sort of had tunnel vision that first year, although it does, but I had in my head that first year really counted and that I needed to be so fixed on my studies. Whereas actually, I probably should have done more bits, but I think my test, my statement to that would be, we can, it doesn't matter whether you join first year, halfway through first year, or second year or third year, just, you can join whenever you like. And maybe the person that you're not going to click with straight away is sat right next to you, or is your partner on the first time you join to the society. But, speaking from Stu, he was the conductor and I played saxophone. So we were as far away as we could be. But the fact is, I think just, although it may be scary that people have their cliques and people are friends, just turn up to the pub and they'll make you feel welcome afterwards. I think that's the biggest thing. And it's making those first couple, 2 to 3 times that you turn up, go to the pub, or, order a drink. It doesn't have to be alcoholic or anything. Just have something that you want, and that, and just start conversations with people.
Yeah.
I
think that's it. It's the just getting over that first leap of just throwing yourself in,
and not feeling like you have to immediately make that connection straight away, because things grow naturally over time.
But just starting with just saying hello.
Yeah.
I'm James and I play the trumpet. Who are you?
Yeah. And then, are you going somewhere after this, or can I come along?
I've got one more bit of advice. Just like, if you're a fresher, just don't be serious. Just crack as many jokes as possible. Make people laugh. Make people remember you. That's what it's all about. You got 3 years. Make some friends. Just laugh it all off.
Lovely. Thank you very much to all our alumni guests, to Dilraj, to Emma, to Clara, to Joe, to Alice, and of course to Josh. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the UoR Music Podcast.
We do miss you.
Hopefully we'll be able to do another one of these with more people live.
Oh, yeah.
Together in a space. And also, I'd just like to say, we have had a few names tossed around today that people might be, a lot of people will know, but people might know. So, for example, particularly Marco and Stu, who were supposed to both be on appearing on here, but unfortunately couldn't make it. So just a shout out to those two, and just to say, though, those are just, I'm sure they'd say pretty much the same things.
To all the alumni listening in,
yeah,
it's I think it just goes to show with everyone here, name dropping people, that after uni, the people you meet at uni in these groups, they'll be with you for a while.
Lovely. Thank you very much, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, boys.
So that's it for the UoR Music Podcast Christmas special. Have you had a good time, Ben?
I want more.
I know. I'll tell you what you can do.
Oh, what?
You can rewind it right back to the beginning. You can listen to it all over again as many times as you want.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Or you could listen to the whole series again so far.
Yeah, so far, yeah.
No, that is it for 2020, I'm afraid, for the UoR Music Podcast. But we have had a blast in, all 5 episodes we've done.
We're 5 episodes in and we're already taking a break.
Yeah.
This is our work ethic.
Yeah, but we are off for our Christmas break. But we will be back in 2021. We have a list of guests that we are trying to book.
Some big names on there, hopefully.
So yeah, we've got big plans for 2021. So hopefully it will be a good year, and hopefully a bit stronger year for music than 2020
hopefully music
has
will
been.
be coming back and
yeah. But thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Have a wonderful Christmas. Stay safe. But before that,
there's more.
Ben Stone, will you play us out on your incredibly comically tiny miniature saxophone?
Only if you join me on your even tinier trumpet.
But I will do. Let me just find my fart trumpet.
But we hope you have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and a safe one as well. Stay safe and look after those around you.
And we will see you in 2021.